Hello everybody and welcome back to Brookshore. Today we're starting episode 7 of our build here and currently we're overlooking our biggest towns that we've got so far, but we've got a lot of building to do today, that's for sure. It's going to be split into 2 parts of this episode. We're going to have a time lapse of building a botanical garden for the city, which you'll see me starting now, and then we're going to do some expansion up to the north in Coleridge. But alrighty then, let's cover this 7-minute time lapse. I won't describe everything that's going on as it's pretty explanatory what we're doing here. However, I'm going to try and shed some light where necessary. You know, you saw me raise the ground. I've levelled it to eventually create a tiered botanical garden. And we've obviously put it in a park area to create Sims to visit the area. I want to include the greenhouse as a focal point of the garden, so I've put it in the park area to encourage the Sims to visit. So I read that during this time period, people were really into kind of gardening, creating these botanical gardens, collecting trees from all over the world and showing them off in a big sort of park. So I thought it'd be quite fitting of the time frame to include a build like this. And you know, it's just one of those parts of history of Brookshore that once we move further down the line, we can look back and we say, hey look, you know, we created this at the beginning and this was this purpose. Now it's a massive attraction. So yeah, so I thought it'd be a great idea to include this sort of thing in the series. So I've put down this content creator asset at the front from the Seaside content creator pack. Over in Britain we call this either a house or a hall, and it's sometimes even often referred to as a castle as well. So I thought this fit in pretty well. You see that what I'm doing here is I'm actually re-changing the paths yet again just to line up with the actual house itself. For the actual garden itself, I've combined these sort of these park life plazas with the pathways, and what I'm going to do in a minute is I'm going to be surrounding it by thick foliage just to give it some kind of like some privacy and obviously make it more of an attractive area. Here we go, there's the bamboo on the side. It just made it more of like a natural fence, and I think it also adds some nice vibrant colours as well. It's kind of contrasting with the mauve. And we obviously Sims will want to sit here in the summertime, so I'll put some seating down, like little chessboards, just for a little bit of entertainment purposes. And you could imagine them kind of like coming in during the summer and visiting and, you know, making the most of the weather. So in terms of actual trees, flower beds, I didn't use anything as inspiration. I just put down a variety of vanilla assets and trees from sort of around the world just to create that botanical feel and to fill it up and bring some colour into the place as well. I think it just adds something a little bit extra. It just makes it look a little bit more, a bit more creative flair in there, and it just makes it look a little bit more, you know, vibrant and a nice place to visit. As I say, it's only subtle vanilla detailing, but obviously I had to put a pergola in and a little fountain, and I changed some of the lights in here as well just to match the park life asset. And in a minute you'll see that I do change it to the night time just to see what areas needed lighting up, and the house to me looked a little bit too dark, so I put just some lights out front just to give it a little bit of illumination. In a minute we'll start with the front of the hall, and so this is kind of like the tiered effect that I wanted to create. You'll see that I put a statue out the front, and the reason I use these paths is we can push the landscaping right the way back, and it creates like a sharper tiered effect. And then I kind of leveled it out so you could actually see that. So just out the front, it was a little bit of what I'd done inside, really, just some trees, multiple varieties of trees, and some seating. And towards the end, you'll notice that I did cut back the foliage, so if you was sitting in the front garden, you would see the mountains and the landscape in front of you. So yeah, just dotting some trees in, and I've done one more layer as well. For a beautiful building and garden like this, we'd need a nice approach. So I thought, John, let's do something different. Let's put some, some tree line, some chestnut trees that lines the driveway, and here it is. Okay, so let's move on to the main event of today's episode. I'll let you into a little secret. This is actually the third time I'm recording this now, and yeah, it's quite the project. It's going to be much the bigger project than I originally first suspected it would be. So I wasn't quite happy with what I'd done, and I don't want to just sort of put out any old content that I'm not happy with. So yeah, so I'm redoing it, and hopefully this one goes to plan. So obviously we've done the Botanical Garden in the first part of this episode, and the second part of this episode is we're going to be expanding the town of Coalbridge. Now I'm going to have to make another zone simply because we're going to be looking at the first time at high density, and I want to build it in the European theme because I just think those buildings kind of fit the style that we're kind of going for at the moment, and I'm a big fan of the buildings, to be honest. Obviously, so this episode is potentially going to be split into two parts because it's quite a big project, as I mentioned. But first of all, let's get the road structure down and explain what I've done. Okay, so I've laid the starting foundations down of our road structure. We've got our collectors, our main collectors, and also we've got some collectors heading off in different directions. Maybe these were the old historical roads that we can hook up further down the line, but they're going to funnel our traffic down their residential and commercial areas. Now, before I kind of jump the gun, I need to tell you the reason why I'm creating this town, a little bit of a backstory. So I wanted to create this new town next to Coalbridge as a focus on textiles and ceramics. Now it will be quite a big town. It's probably going to stretch out as far as what I've kind of laid down. Maybe it may go a little bit further. We'll have to wait and see. But it's going to be quite an important town to start off with. So I thought, let's change up the style. We need the population. So let's put the high density in and create a new style district. I'm going to lay down. So basically, as I say, it's going to be ceramics, and it's going to be basically taking its material in from our ore industry over here. Now I'm going to expand it, and I'm going to do that now, and I'll be right back with you and explain what I've done. And second thoughts, I thought it'd be easier to do it as we go, actually. So this is going to be our cargo line, which I'm going to do another one that is going to branch off into our ore industry. This is our passenger line, which is a straight through, and this is our station connection, which is probably going to go somewhere up to about there. Railway line is going to go into our ore, which is probably going to run alongside, let's extend that out, it's going to run alongside the stand storage, and let me do a nice curve just to resemble it, because I'm going to replace these roads obviously with the railway lines as soon as we unlock them. And the rail will look something like this. Now all I've got to do is hook up our industrial road, and this will give us the kind of area that we're looking to use and expand eventually. So we've got a high street, we've got our collectors, we've planned out our area, we've briefly discussed what this new town is going to entail. Now let's think about how we're going to get it building up. We need our Sims to move in, and the first thing we need to do is we need to add in our services for our Sims. Okay, so I'm going to use our gravel road to do some planning. Now I'm thinking we're going to have a road that comes directly opposite our train station, and this will enable me to put some plazas. I'm thinking to make it look nice and extravagant, we'll have some plazas plopped down here. We'll have a main building in the middle, something perhaps to do with the station, and I'm thinking we'll use something from the content creator pack, kind of like my go-to buildings for this sort of stage of the series. But I do really like them, so I'm pleased to see them in the series. So something like this will do. Quite a nice, it's going to look different to what we've got placed down, so it's going to set it apart. So I'm thinking having a nice kind of like focal road right out in front of that building. Let's have our plazas either side. I'll tell you what I'll do, I'll upgrade this road first, because sometimes we do have a few issues with that. Right, that's all good and well. Let's pop in our park, our plazas. One there, and we'll have one opposite. So as soon as you come out the station, you're greeted by this nice park, plaza pedestrian area. And I think we will break these roads. So we've got a death care place down, and then as I say, it creates a nice focal point as you come off the train. So we've got our cemetery, we've got our plazas, we've got our main building as you come in. Let's put some pathways down either side, and we'll also talk about what other service we could do with. Let's drop a path either side of that, and we need a police station. So we've got this nice one, this nice European asset here. Perhaps we could put that maybe outside the station. You know, I'm happy with that. That's fine by me. Yeah, that's quite a nice building on the side there. We've got the path, which I'm going to upgrade as well to no more dirt paths. They're all going to be upgraded now to these concrete paths. Apart from these ones, I do just like this style. So we're going to keep them for now. Right, one other asset that we haven't used before is the postal service. So let's get that down. I'm thinking we could have, you know, you do get like postal trains and things like that. So let's put it close to the station too. So we've got a nice post office right outside the station as well. Okay, awesome. So we're getting there. Pipes are down, electrics are connected. Let's discuss about zoning. Now, this obviously on our high street here, I want to have high density commercial flanking this main high street road. We'll have some commercial that comes off of the side of it and down these side roads, and then we're going to combine it with residential as well. So what I've done is I've created this 5-way interchange here because I kind of want this to be the busiest part of town. So we're going to focus our high density here, and slowly as we move out we're going to slowly tear it down into the low density residential. Now I'm not looking to completely mass zone this area. It's going to be selective zoning. We're going to look at what we're putting in and discuss what's going in, and we will do some plopping of assets. This is basically to help get the look first of all, and second of all just to speed the video along, because whilst I'm waiting for things to zone in, it could take me for quite a long time. And obviously recording on YouTube, we want to have some kind of decent time length of the episode. So I'm just going to give you a glimpse of the kind of assets that I want to sort of plop down myself. So we've got this corner asset. We've got a smaller one here. We've got another corner asset. Really like these. More of like a Paris vibes on this one. This one here that we're going to use, I like the brickwork texture on this one. So try and incorporate it a few times. And again, this one's a nice sort of middle building that's got a bit of a courtyard feel to it. So we'll have a look at that one too. I won't be zoning one by ones. They're the ones that I'm going to try and build this town up around. But as I say, I'm going to try and zone them and only plop down where necessary. So maybe it's best to take this kind of one block at a time. So out here, I want to have a corner building here. I'm going to zone it 2x3, and I want to have the same one here. Lemonade here, just editing currently, and I thought I'd put a quick break in just to let you know I have made a slight error by placing this building here. I don't think it would actually spawn in the vanilla game, but if you jump to around 29 minutes, I realised the fact that I'd done that, and I'll show you the corrections, how you can make it more vanilla friendly. Anyway, back to the video. I want to use a corner building to pretty much overlook this plaza, just making sense of purpose basically. You could see, you know, imagine people kind of working up in the offices, having their lunch break and by the bench and having a you know, whatever they're having for lunch. But yeah, it just sort of creates kind of like more of a courtyard, a plaza feel. And I'll explain as we go on. So I've just realised I've placed a residential one, so let me just swap that over. So I'm hoping that one will zone in automatically as to what we've just placed. This building on this side, because I kind of like, I think it looks nice, that brickwork does look alright. I think that kind of ties in okay. And then you've got a courtyard at the back here, just as I say, just all creates a little bit more detailed for the vanilla game. And we've got these factory like windows here, which will sort of tie into the era, so I'm pretty pleased with that. And also it looks nice on the main road. So as I say, it's just all about zoning in specifically what you want. And then of course, as it's a corner building, we could always introduce a bit of a road here, like a cul-de-sac. So let's put our angle on and go. If we go there, we can always have a 2 deep building this side. I won't be cheating and putting down like a 3x2 there, because it's obviously not the correct zoning. So I want to build it properly, and for this instance, we'll just go with a 2x2 building. As I say, it will be a matter of specifically choosing certain things, and we'll in a minute I'll press play and we will see what we get kind of growing in. So let's just plop a few more down there, and then where it doesn't make sense to zone, you know, why don't we just extend perhaps where this is split zoning here, we could always perhaps have like a bit of a pedestrian walk through here. Same with this as well. But for the moment, let's just zone and see what we get in. So we'll have a 3x2 there. We'll try and have another corner building. Let me place some more down, and then I'll press play, and then we'll see what we get in and go from there. Okay, so that's quite nice. We've got nice corner buildings here, which is obviously they're all zoned in. So anything that I think looks nice, I'm going to make historical straight off the bat. So I'm pretty happy with them. And it's a matter of just going through. That can go. It's a matter of going through, seeing what we like, marking it historical, and then just repeating the process until we get what we want. So that's good. That's good. We've got some more corner buildings here, which is ideal. We like them. Not a fan of that. That can go. So we've got a 3x3 square, and that's zoned in. I like the back of that building though. Again, it ties in with these nice windows. They look very similar. So I'm pleased with that one. That might look nice. So I'm going to remove it because I want one of these to grow in. That might look nice here at the back here. It's a 3x2. So again, as I say, for the purpose of this actual video, I would wait for that to grow in, but whilst we are using Plop Growables, we might as well make the most of it. So they look okay next to each other, I'm alright with those, but then more importantly, from the road, yeah, see, I really like that. That really does feel like we're living in the kind of era that we are currently in. Around here, we can perhaps put a pathway just to make more use of that plaza and walkability. And I think what also would look good as well is if we could get the same building to grow here, that would then kind of close that plaza off. Now I do like this asset. I did say that earlier. It's one of the assets that we will be using. But in this particular location, can we get anything better? So we've got plenty of options here. So maybe, I'm thinking maybe we can get another one of these in. Yeah, we can. Why not? Let's go for that. So I'm going to plop that in. And I will keep hammering home that this episode is all about asset placement, we'll call it, and how you can kind of get the vanilla style that you're looking for. And yeah, this creates quite a nice eye line towards the church here. And let's have a look down this side. Sorry, in this perspective. Yeah, see, that's really nice. And once we get some more buildings either side, that will really come to life. Anyway, let's move on. So we've got back-to-back assets there. So I'm going to historicalise that one. And what have we got zone-wise here? We could have a 2x2, which would look something like that. Again, that looks quite nice from the main road, and it sort of matches the aesthetic we want. So let's go for that. What I'll do is I'll see if I can get that to grow in. So we could have a repetition, and once these do grow in, I will show you what that looks like, because that's another important. That is another important part of getting vanilla assets to look good, I believe, is repetition. So if we can get another one of these to grow here, it's like symmetry. This line will follow on. There'll be the same sort of colour buildings. The roof, it will look much better than when you kind of just get like this. The way vanilla zones it in, for me, it just looks really, I don't know, it just looks so out of place. So yeah, I think it's really an important part of getting what you want in vanilla. So here we could have another one of these buildings. We could have perhaps the pathway to continue through, or it might look better if we do one of the buildings that we intend to zone here. So let's hold off for a minute, see what zone grows in and what it looks like from the side of the road, and then maybe if we do the same up on this side, it might look pretty good as well. And then we've got more space for another road to come through, sorry, another pathway for our Sims here. I'm going to continue to build this up as I go, and yeah, I'm going to do another quick time lapse, and I'll be back with you again very, very shortly. Whilst these assets are also growing in, why not we look at some other sensible services that will work well in the city as well. So maybe we could put down a school. Alright, not sure what's happening there. For some reason it wasn't letting me connect in. Maybe that node was just too close. But either way, rather than getting rid of that road, I've just used the snap to angle to come as close as I can. So I've got this road wrapping around the back of the church, Maybe on this side we could have, I'm going to press play again so we've got money coming in. Maybe we could have a elementary school this side. Again, it's all in line. And perhaps we can have the playground asset next to it as well. So where's that small? Yeah, one of these. Yeah, that's all right. Something like that. It's got its own little road here as well. I mean, we could even connect something like that. I don't imagine this being too busy, this road. Although we could always, again, we can always just, you know, don't be afraid to change things as you go. And maybe we have this road come up like that, and we could even have a high school. Yeah, so we've got a little bit of greenery at the front. We've got our high schools. We've got a field, perhaps that this high school uses and shares it with the elementary school. Yeah, I'm alright with that. I think that works out okay. So let's have a look what's grown in. I'll continue to destroy these. Hopefully they grow back as the other assets that we're using. Yeah, I'm just thinking as well, we've got this little courtyard alleyway over here. Do we bring a path through? Yeah, let's do that. That's a good idea. So let's just you know, think outside the box and use the assets differently. So yeah, they match. Remove that zone in there. I don't want a one grid there though, unfortunately, so maybe try it this way first. See if we can squeeze that in there without deleting the asset. Yeah, we can. Perfect. And there you go. So it's just about using the imagination a little bit and just sort of playing with the assets and seeing what we can get. So here's another instance of the repetition. So they just I think they just match up nicer, in my opinion, rather than having one of those kind of like blue buildings over here pop in next to it. Just had a quick look around the rest of the city to make sure we're not killing it off, or I'm not killing it off and neglecting it. And yeah, we've got some trash issues amongst other things, so I'm going to try and deal with those now by plopping some new landfills down, and we will address the situation, but see, that'll have to come in another episode. So I'm just going to plop these down. Another situation has just dawned on me, which obviously being primarily a vanilla series, I think I've overlooked something which I'm going to address, and that is these corner buildings. Now, even though the zoning squares are correct, I'm not sure if Cities Skylines actually reads that as a building that can spawn there. So in order to rectify this, what we're going to do is, it's not too much of an issue. We're just going to run a road and actually have it back onto the road. So it might be a slight issue in this situation, but I tell you what, we'll go forward a little bit and then we'll put one there instead. So let's bring out one there, and then I'm hoping that now will spawn the asset that we had. but for the other ones here, I'm just going to have to make a little adjustment. Not a problem. We'll just see what zone's in and just change it appropriately. Let's have a look at the other ones here. So this one as well, let's just pop a little kind of connection in. There we go. So obviously if you are playing kind of on console, you know, without any mods, this is kind of how you'll have to get round it. It's not too much of an issue, but you know, we just have to work within the limits of the game. So you know, we still can use that building, but again, to make it fair, that's not the right zoning, is it? Means we're gonna have a bit of a blank wall on this corner, but it's okay. We can put our own kind of little decorative around the edges. And again, it's just kind of seeing what assets we get that will grow back in to determine what we want to place here. So maybe it might look better if we have 2x2s all the way along here rather than having this 3. Although that does kind of match this side. So we'll just see. We'll have a look. I think there is a few more as well. This is another one. Thinking about it here. We're gonna have 2 blank corners. Maybe we just decide to try something else along this side. Yeah, let's see what it looks like as it grows in. Yeah, see, it's going straight in. It's exactly how we had it before, obviously just with the road in front, which I'm not against the road. I think it opens up the space a little bit more as well, so it's not a bad thing. And then we'll just have to kind of, again, just decorate what we've got around here. But we can close that gap in. It's not a problem. Hopefully we'll get one of those that grow in. And I'm just going to do the same situation here. Let me change this. Alright, so I've been around the town just to see where I can make some changes, where it will fit the vanilla game. And I'm on the whole, I'm pretty pleased with what we've got now. It's not drastically changed, just a few more roads added, just creates a little bit more interest in that infrastructure as well. So yeah, I don't think I've missed any. I will have a look between now and next episode as well. But so obviously we've been in the episode for quite a while now. I'm going to kind of sort of wrap things up in a moment. There's just one other little place I wanted to discuss. So on this corner here, what I'm thinking is I quite like these buildings that go back, and they've got the kind of like a courtyard at the back. So what I'm thinking is if we have one kind of facing that way, it's this one actually, one facing that way and one facing that way, we could actually have our own little plaza. So I'm going to try and get them to grow in. So it gives us a nice little space out the front here. But other than that, I'm going to just go through the rest of the zoning, and which I'll do in a time lapse, and then once we get back, we'll wrap up the episode. I think next episode it will just be about exploring the rest of this town. So let me get going with this. I'll probably bulldoze a few that don't make sense, and I'll be back with you. Alright, so I've gone through, I've finished off where I can. I will have a quick look through after the episode as well, see if I can make any adjustments. But yeah, on the whole, I'm pretty pleased how it's all turned up. I'll just quickly discuss this bit here. It's going to be a bit loud if I zoom right in. Hold on, let me just turn the music down. Alright, so it's probably going to be bit of a difference between the audio levels here. But so what I wanted to do is, I'd imagine this kind of intersection would be a really quite a busy node of obviously traffic and pedestrian traffic. So I imagine that we'd have I've put commercial on the corners, and these buildings, they just fill the corners out and they look a little bit more important. So I'm really pleased how that's turned out. I'd imagine this would be kind of like a really popular kind of intersection. So yeah, so I'm pretty pleased with these buildings on the side here. I think it looks really nice. But on the whole, yeah, I think we're definitely getting somewhere. A population has increased, which is obviously the main goal. But in the next one, what we're going to do is we're going to detail all this area out, and then we're going to look into our low density part of town. So I think that will be everything for today. So I hope you've enjoyed today. I hope you like the build that we're putting together so far and the ideas that we've placed down. I've tried to be as vanilla friendly as possible, without using the mod to where it can't be applied to other consoles. So yeah, anyway, if you've liked the episode, please feel free to like the video and subscribe. It goes a long way with a like on the video, and just obviously if you've got any feedback, it'll be really appreciated too. So as I say, I hope you've enjoyed the video. I look forward to seeing you in your next one. Take care for now. Bye bye.